This is the second video in Chapter 4 for Consumer Equilibrium and Market Demand. Not only do prices of a product affect consumer equilibrium, changes in income do as well. So if we look at our original budget line, we can remember that there were 4 hamburgers if all the money was spent on hamburgers, and 10 tacos if all the money was spent on tacos, and that helped us create the original equilibrium, that sweet spot, that point of tangency where the budget line was equal to the isoquant or the isoutility line. But what would happen if your income increased? In this case, from $5 to $6 per week. Like we always have, we would go ahead and decide if we spent all of our money on tacos, we could purchase 12 tacos, and if we spent all of our money on hamburgers, we could purchase about 4.75 hamburgers, and we just simply draw a new budget line. The new budget line would create a new isoutility line. There would be the point of tangency. But here's what I want you to catch. In this case, if we had a new budget line, we would go ahead and see an increase in hamburger consumption. Let me draw a better line than that. The hamburger consumption would go up. Also, which is kind of interesting, if we had more money, we would also notice our number of tacos would go up. So we have more money in our pocket, and we would therefore be able to purchase more tacos and more hamburgers. Whenever you have an increase in your income, and that causes an increase in the consumption of goods, we call those goods normal goods. Let's just say your income increased even more, and now all of a sudden there are $8. Well, if we came back in and did the math and created our budget lines, we could easily tell that we have a new budget line that we're creating, and that new budget line would yield a new point of tangency, point C, and at point C, it's kind of interesting what has occurred. At point C, we can tell we have a lot more money, and our number of hamburgers, our consumption goes up. And when we look at the number of tacos, it goes down. So we have more money in our pocket, and we purchased more hamburgers and less tacos. So we've had an increase in income, and we ended up purchasing more hamburgers. Hamburgers in this case is a normal good. But we had an increase in income, and we purchased less tacos. So in this case, the tacos become what's called an inferior good. For your terminology, inferior has nothing to do with quality. It is typically a type of good. We have 2 types of goods. One is normal and one is inferior, and they are described by what happens to the purchase of that good as your income changes. Here is the concept of a normal good. With a normal good, when your income increases, goes up, your consumption goes up. I'm making more money, I'm buying more stuff. And conversely, if your income goes down, you've cut hours, you got laid off, you don't have as much money coming in, on a normal good, as your income goes down, your consumption goes down. So normal goods have the same relationship between income and consumption, meaning as one goes up, the other goes up. Inferior goods have an inverse relationship. And when we take a look at inferior goods, we can see my income has gone up, I'm making more money, and my consumption is going down. I'm purchasing less of that product. I don't have as much money, or I have more money, I buy less. Or I don't have a lot of money. I got laid off, my hours were cut. And so because I don't have a lot of money, if you purchase more of a good when your income decreases, that's another indicator you have an inferior good. So how would you classify top ramen? If you're making more and more and more money, you're bringing in the bank, do you buy more and more top ramen? If you buy more top ramen when your income goes up, it would be a normal good. Let's just say you got laid off and you don't have as much cash. When you go to the store and your income has gone down, will your consumption go up? If that's the case, we would classify top ramen as an inferior good. And as another example, we're talking about a high quality steak, assuming that you eat steak. Typically, when people's income goes up, their protein choices can go up, and maybe they quit buying hot dogs, they quit buying hamburger, they quit buying chicken. And as their income goes up, consumption of a good like beef can increase, demonstrating that it is a normal good. As we are evaluating normal and inferior goods, we just recognize a normal good says as income goes up, consumption goes up. And in all these cases, as income went up, we went ahead and increased our number of hamburgers. When we look at the angle curve for tacos, we can see as income went up here, consumption went up. It had that positive right slope. And then, as our income continued to increase from $6 to $8, we noticed we had a decrease in our consumption of tacos, showing that it was an inferior good.